So open your heart and open your soul. Your life will be complete when you give God control. So open your heart and open your soul.
We get down to this power of what it means to be a follower of Jesus, and we hear his call again and again about prayer. Knock, ask, seek. He keeps saying that over and over again, and he says it without restrictions. He doesn't say, well, sometimes when you knock, or he just kind of open door. Knock, ask, seek, and you'll find the door will be opened, and you'll get what you want. And then he comes in the Gospel of John, he even comes and he says, one time, he says, ask anything of the Father in my name, and I'll give it to you. Isn't that amazing? That God would come to us and say, again, this humble God, whatever happens, I want you to ask. I want you to ask, and I'm going to listen, and I'm going to open the doors, and I'm going to give you what you're seeking. I'm going to bring especially the peace of what you want. That's our God. That's our God, a God who challenges us to pray. Not as a God who comes up and says, well, I got all the answers, but go ahead and pray. I don't care what you say. I'm going to tell you it's yes or no. No, that's not God. This is a God who really listens with tender care, and we'll get into the openness to change in his life in a neat way. Well, the other, that whole intimacy of prayer, and I've got this down with regard to Romans. You've heard this often from Romans 8. The fact, a lot of times I come to people, and maybe you've experienced this yourself, sometimes you just don't want to pray. Or sometimes you can't pray. It just doesn't want, you just don't want to pray. And you're trying to be a good person. You're trying to follow the rules and do what you want, but you just don't want to pray. The last thing you want to do is sit down or get on your knees or pull out a rosary or turn to God and come to Mass and pray for something like that. And listen to what Paul reminds us of, that even at those times when you're as dry as a desert and nothing seems to be happening, he comes up and says, that's okay, I still love you. And the Holy Spirit who lives in you, he'll pray for you. But isn't that interesting? Imagine the depth of what we're talking about here. That you don't even have to worry when you don't want to pray. God is so much a part of you and so living in you and so alive in you that God just takes care of it yourself. And then when you find yourself, let's say you're a parent and you find your children, no, they don't go to church and they're not doing this and this. Just to kind of relax with the overpowering strength of what this is about is that you don't have to worry because the Holy Spirit is in control. He's living in your daughter. He's living in your son. He's living in that grandchild. And he's praying. He's moving through them in great ways. I don't know about you, but that really is consoling. And that's a beautiful sign of intimacy, isn't it? That God is so intimate with us. I'm a temple of God. The Holy Spirit is here, and the Holy Spirit is talking to the Father and the Son in my stead. Even when I do, I pray the rosary, and the last thing I think of was anything that had to do with the rosary. You probably haven't done that yourself, No, never. But you can just, you go through this and your mind is all over everywhere. We got to say it was good. And I oftentimes, I say the rosary every day, but sometimes it'll happen that, I come back late at night, and if I'm not, I try to walk up and down so I don't fall asleep. But sometimes when you go to bed, you fall asleep saying the rosary, and that old thing of, let your guardian angel finish it, and I do that, As long as you get one or two in, that's okay. like that, And would you pull out, does somebody have their Bible here? Does you have their Bible? Would you pull out John 17:21?